basics. All right, so rapport. So we've talked about this many times before during training. So rapport means to gain a person's trust by showing concern for their needs and communicating well. So the more you get to know the prospect and they get to know you, the easier the process becomes. So they can trust that you'll find the best apartment home for them and listen to your ideas and advice. So I assigned everybody in leasing a course to take that was due yesterday, and it had a survey to do in it. So in the survey, I asked questions on rapport. What do you think rapport building means? What are your go-tos when it comes to rapport, and so on. So based on the survey results, rapport building, that as far as what you guys said, is the relationship you create to get to know your prospect and build the trust over the leasing process, which is all correct. If you've taken my soft skills training during onboarding, you may have remembered the liking rule and how people want to buy from people they like. So during this training, we're going to take a different approach than me telling you what rapport questions to ask. So in today's quick webinar, we're going to merge sales and the psychological framework behind rapport building. All right. So I'm going to need your cooperation a lot during this training. So please have your chat box open when it comes to answering questions, okay? All right, so my first question, you guys, is what is NLP? Has anybody ever heard of NLP? Don't jump to Google just quick to go NLP. I just want to see offhand, has anybody ever heard of NLP? And you can just put yes or no in the chat box. No is an okay answer as well. So I'm going to wait for the chat box just to get some responses. Oh, yeah, let's see a no. All right, so Skylar said natural language processing. Okay, sounds kind of close. Any other responses? All right. So as far as what NLP is, so NLP is the neuro-linguistic programming. So it's a framework of words, phrases, body language, actions that encourage subconscious activity in another person that produces outcome. So the framework basically stems from how people think and behave. Initially, NLP was based on the idea that humans operate on some unconscious internal map or playbook. So according to the founder of NLP, Richard Bandler, he believed NLP could be used as a set of principles that you use to influence the people around you. So we, in our sense, in our industry of why it's important to use NLP is NLP sales involve using specific phrases, strategies, behaviors to play on the system and subtly shape how prospects feel about an offering. If you're not aware, today NLP is used in a wide variety of fields, including counseling, medicine, law, business, the performing arts, sports, the military, and education. So you guys have probably in your life already experienced NLP, maybe didn't even know it. So during this training, I want you to think of NLP as a series of tools where you can leverage your inflection, your body language, general appearance, and subconscious cues to influence whether your buyer trusts you or whether they think you're a used car salesman. So as we mentioned earlier, trust plays a big part of the rapport process. All right. So I know I mentioned this is a short webinar, so I want to give you some key tools on using NLP during your presentation process of building rapport with your prospects. So I'll go over these 6 tips that I'm about to cover with you and how you can utilize each during a call or a face-to-face interaction. So let's get started. So the 6 tips on successful rapport building using NLP are going to be matching voice tone, pace, and energy, mirroring, we're not just another leasing agent, complete focus, let me repeat that, and feedback loops. So I know some of this may look familiar to your soft skill training when we first started training, but it really isn't. It's going to be a little different. You're going to see some of the same words that we've used, but not so much. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into it. All right, so the first 2 we're going to go over are, the first one is match vocally. So when we match someone vocally, we start to get on the same page as them. So, example. So really loud talkers can make you feel uncomfortable and a connection is not being made. So have you ever talked to someone who spoke very fast and you were like, what? Throughout the whole conversation. You're just like, huh? Say it again? What? Because they're talking so fast. I probably get that a lot because I talk fast and I also mumble. So I work on that constantly. So sometimes when it comes to people like that are on a different pace than you when it comes to vocally talking, you barely understand bits and pieces. So, you really don't get a chance to connect to what they're trying to say when it comes to that conversation. Or have you ever spoke to someone who spoke too quietly and you kept having to ask them to repeat what they said? So during these type of conversations, you usually just want to get the conversation over with without being rude. So same with sales. You don't want the prospect to tune you out before you even get to your rapport building conversation. So once again, that is matching someone's tone, pitch, and pace. Okay? So that's one of the first things you want to do. That's going to be a part of the NLP process. Another one is matching someone's vibe. So, we hear that all the time, that's a vibe or whatnot. So vibe is not just, what people say these days. Vibe actually comes from a longer history of when people would use it. So there's a certain vibe you get from people. So each person has a different vibe, a different pace, hand grip, how the prospect behaves. We want to match it. So when we start to match vibes, we start to disarm them. So I'm curious, in the chat box, type in what you feel your vibe is. Are you slow-paced? Are you strong? Are you loud? Are you fast? Energetic? How would you describe your vibe? So if you guys would use the chat box really quickly, just tell me, what do you feel your vibe is? Kylie, you said you're extra. Oh, you said you're very extra. Okay. Got it. How about anybody else? Skylar, you said you're loud. Sue, you're slow-paced. All right. I love this. So you guys have all different types of vibes, which is great. I mean, everybody has their own vibe because it's a part of their own personality. So the only thing that we would have to do in these cases, depending on who your prospect is, you kind of want to match that vibe. So if you're like Kylie, that's real extra, and you have someone that's going to be very maybe introverted and not so extra, you may want to tone it down a little bit. If you're someone that's like Sue, that is more slow-paced to kind of go with the flow, and she has someone that's go, she may have to speed it up a little bit to kind of meet them halfway. So next one is break the pattern. Okay. Let's see. Actually, just to kind of give you another example as far as the vibe, it just kind of dawned on me. So let's say like a leasing agent's natural vibe is very slow-paced and soft. Their prospect has a strong type of vibe. By continuing with your soft and slow pace, you're going to get the prospect into the let's move it along type of feeling. So by this time, they've kind of checked out of your presentation. So pay total attention to what they're saying and doing. You can tell a person's vibe from the handshake, body language, and how they respond to you. Okay. Next one here is break the pattern. So use approaches that are going to be different than what the prospect expects. All right. So you want to kind of surprise them. That unknown factor is going to be a little different than what they expect. So are you behaving in a way that all other leasing agents that they've toured with today have already shown them? So that's a question I want you to ask yourself whenever you get a new prospect. Are you behaving just like the last leasing agent that they just toured with at a competitor property is behaving? Did you treat them exactly the same? Did you sit them down? Did you ask them if they have water? Did you ask them 20 questions in a row about what they're looking for in the apartment home? Or did you match the vibe? Did you ask them, hey, so how's it going today? How are you today? Surprise them with things like that. It takes them back. Whoa, what? You want to know how my day is going? Opposed to, okay, so you're looking for one better by what date? So change it up a little bit. The customer expects you to act a certain way. So we want to break the pattern at the beginning of the sale, whether it be at the beginning of the call or when they walk up to your desk. With most prospects, the wall almost immediately is going up because we may come across like another salesperson. Slowing down the tone, sounding more human, use approaches that are going to be different than what the prospect expects. All right, so I'm just kind of curious, can you guys give me some examples of how we can break this type of pattern? How can we shake it up a bit for them when they come to us so we don't seem like every other a quote unquote salesperson, but leasing agent that they just toured with at another community. I'm going to go to the chat box here, see what answers I can get. So if you guys can give me some of these for me, that would be great. Let's see. Okay, Kylan said compliment their clothes. That's perfect. That's a great way to disarm somebody because people love hearing good things about themselves. Um, he said, yeah, sandals. So whatever you're complimenting, whatever you're doing, maybe it's their hair, maybe it's what they're wearing. Maybe they brought in their kids, and their child is absolutely adorable. Whatever it is, try a different approach. Don't just go directly into yourself. Any other ways? Okay, let's see what Skylar said. Be interested in what they're interested in. Are they a family person? Do they work a lot? Is their whole life their pets? Become their best friend. I love it. Absolutely true. You want to make sure that you're changing up a bit. We're wanting to listen to what they're actually having to say. All right. The next three that I have are focus on them. So focus on them. Kind of goes back to what Skylar just said here. So prospects are tuned into their favorite radio station, WIIFM. So if you guys ever heard that before, people are tuned into their favorite radio station. It's the What's in It for Me radio station. So the prospects don't care about you, your company, or how many leases you need to achieve in a month. We need to speak with a frame and stop talking about ourselves. And if we do so, we need to do so in a way to where we still focus on them and the challenges or goals they want to accomplish. So focus on what's important to them, what they want to achieve today, what were their hot buttons in their home, what they like most about your community or the apartment. By focusing on them, it shows you're listening and they're the main priority. So can you imagine going to the doctor's office? You aren't feeling well. You have a fever. You have constant ringing in your ears. You have a big day this week at work. You need to feel a lot better. So then the doctor says, oh, you're behind on your flu shot. Let's get that taken care of, and then leaves the room, and your appointment with him has ended. So you told him everything is wrong with you, and you're hoping to get better and get a solution for this, and he tells you, oh, you need a flu shot. Let's get that flu shot done, and then he leaves. So remember, a great doctor is going to spend their time focusing on their patient. Think of your people as your patient, you're the doctor. Okay, we have a remedy for them, so focus on what's important to them. Next one here is repeat and rephrase. All right, I didn't say rinse and repeat. I said repeat and rephrase. Okay, so when we repeat what the prospect has told us, they start to think this person is getting me and is listening to me. So by repeating and rephrasing, it allows us to dig deeper. Repeat a key phrase and allow them to open up to you. Repeating not only allows more of an open-ended response from prospects, but allows them to offer hot buttons of what's important to them when finding the new apartment home. An example of repeating is, if I'm hearing you correctly, bedroom size and storage are the key challenges in your current apartment home. This will open up responses like, yes, I currently have a king-size bed in my bedroom, and it's so small I can only fit, the bed. All my nightstands and my dressers are in storage. I have to store some clothes in the hallway cabinets. So by doing that, I just repeated what their need is, and they opened up more and told me more hot buttons of what the issue is. So it's going to help me in the long run when I'm trying to present solutions and how we best fit their needs. Okay. So we're showing we're really paying attention. We'll build a stronger rapport because in their mind, this is someone who's understanding what I'm saying. When people feel like they're being understood, they start to feel good about a person. We want our prospects to feel that we get them. Last but not least, the sixth one here we have for you is feedback loops. So ensure your prospect is still with you. Use interject feedback loops to close as well. Example, does that work for you? That's a great feedback loop. I like to use this whenever I'm giving somebody a price, whenever I'm presenting a solution, because you want to know if this works for them. If this doesn't work for them, then we need to go back to the drawing board and look at our availability and see what else we can present to them. Maybe it's a price. Maybe we show them a unit that has a bad view that this is not going to work for them. They need somewhere that's going to be closer to the garage, or they need a garage, whatever the case may be. It's always good to go back and feel, what works for them. So we want to make sure to utilize feedback loops during your presentation. It shows we're concerned with what is important to them and ensures we are presenting valuable solutions. At times, I will hear agents just give an amenity dump or go on about things that are not important to the caller. Some other examples of feedback loops are, what this is going to do is solve the problem of blah, blah, blah. Another is, does that make sense? Or is that okay? These little questions suck the prospect back into the conversation. These are also mini closing tools as well. So I just wanted to see if I have any examples I can get from you guys. What are some examples of feedback loops that you currently use now? So if I could get some in the chat box, what are some feedback loops that you are currently using now? So these are mini closers. These are just little questions or statements that are ensuring that we're making sure the prospect's still with us. Right, I got my chat box here, double check it. Okay, let's see. When giving options, ask which they prefer. This makes the prospect think about what we've discussed. Yeah, that's absolutely correct, Skylar. So, asking them, giving them a choice of what they prefer, it allows you to get some type of confirmation of a real answer. Perfect. Okay, so in conclusion, we talked about 6 main tips that can help you subconsciously ease your prospect into trusting you during your sale, whether it be over the phone or in person. So remember to do the following. Meet our prospects where they are, whether that be matching their pitch, their tone, their pace, their vibe. Stand out above the rest. You are not like every other leasing agent that's out there. You're not like the leasing agent that's at the competitor properties. You are better than them. You have something in you that only you can provide to them and show them and just shine. So don't forget that. Make them our focus. They are our priority. So make sure that you're focusing on them and what they're saying and listen to speak. Repeat and listen to speak and circle back to ensure good understanding. All right. Thank you all for joining me today. And remember to practice a few of these tips with your people. It will make all the difference. Thank you guys. And I will talk to you guys soon on the next rapport building series. Bye-bye.